你公开是吧？可以，开始。
我这边先看着。
他怎么知道现在目前他播的这个状态？最好是再放个手机啊。搞，咦，看着帅呆了。
开始吧。
这一美颜，搞吧，开始搞。
往哪？
开，搞。
走。
我们当时已经选公开了呀。
公开了呀。
对呀，他那边显示的是不是那个？
我看我能搜着呢。谁的号过来？
掉点的，高令。公开的上面我看了，公开的。有。你点修改吗？
不是公开吗？
对呀。不是现在最好能让他看到自己的。
那你说的，你可以直接说呀。
开始，可以了。
绿色就已经开始，你可以直接说了。
Hello everyone, this is Jasper from Knowledge Auto Parts Corporation. We are a professional axle and suspension supplier from Henan Zhengzhou, and we are world class auto parts supplier. And we have two parts business about auto parts, and one part is suspension, and another part is axle. And the next steps I will introduce our product about suspension and axles. And our axle has developed from 2.2 and 2.7 series axles to
等会儿啊。
to 7.5 series axles. Axles and including a axle rear, and the series number is from 8 series to 13 series. And the axle's rear and the axle's front is one body system, so it's for a reasonable system. And we have over 16 years experience about our axle and suspension. 有点不熟练，主要是我这在这个第一次嘛，正在理这个思路啊，理这个思路。Our axles, I can introduce some feature, and such as our absorber and our absorber and our airbag and our axle housing or other processing our processing technique I can introduce, such as we use the friction welding for our axles. You know, it's a advanced technology in the axle industry. And the second, we have excellent feature I can introduce, such as everyone, Exos will have a gearbox, and in our just called it is a differential mechanical, and the function just used for output the torque, and we have a self factory about differential mechanical, and we use the cutting without lubrication, and second, our precision just can be reached DINY, and it is the highest level in the Germany. 我先不切换，我先试讲一遍。And second, I will introduce our suspension about some features. And the first is about our absorber. It is from Sax's group, and we first use PCV valve, high comfortable valve. You will feeling different comfortable when you cross the trouble road condition. And the second, our airbag is from ContiTech. ContiTech is a world class supplier from the world, from Germany, and ContiTech have a lot of ramp solution about suspension. The first I can introduce a special feature. Just we just use the four layer droplet design for our suspension, and according my experience, and our competitor just use 2 linear close. So our product just will have a more stable, and more durable, and more using life. About our the 30 and then another point, another point about our suspension structure. The suspension just made by a kind of road or ring, or a kind of road. So and our such as stabilizer road, and poor road, such as steering road, and so on. Just has processed our special technology for improve the situation. And the next step, I will introduce about our axons. Axons just divide two parts, and the first part is from 2.2 to 2.7 zeros, and to seven zeros. The number 7 zeros is named axle front. And about our axle rear is number from axle number 8 to number 13, and the loading and the about parameter and the loading is from 8 ton to 13 ton. And it's a system in just the axle front will matching with axle rear. About our suspension, just also we have developed series from SI 2.2 and to number 13, including low floor suspension and other serial suspension. And next step, I will introduce about our new energy axles. With the society developing, and the new energy has to be the first level of popularity. So we have developed a lot of kinds of serial suspension, and new energy axles. Just we use a motor. We use the motor directly to install the valve, and by motor to output some Tokyo to the to the valve, and to reach the purpose drive the car. Okay, next step, I will show some picture about our project, and just everybody saw it. The picture show just is our low flower suspension. And this picture just also is the low flower suspension. And this picture is our 2.2 zeros axle front, and we have used this suspension for our business bus, and named and the modern is T7.
也是先上市。
我是想先等一会儿，让我把整个流程看完，走完。
你先你自己感觉弄一下吧。就牌里的，你看你讲到哪儿，你可以自己往上看一查。好，我们现在是讲的是啥？别人不知道那是啥。
我没了。Okay, thanks everyone. See you tomorrow. 我靠，有。
你给他交接一下，你这个切换什么东西，你跟他说一下。交接。
这个 back 就俩，你坐那儿呗。
衣服，这个还有。我需要穿这衣服吗？
啊，那不是小了。Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Zach, and I'm from Jingida. Okay, Jingida. Okay, our English name is Molid. Okay, we are a sub company of Yutong Bus. Okay, Yutong Bus is a top bus manufacturer in China, and it's make up nearly 70 or 80% of the total bus sale in around the world, and about 20% of Chinese market, which is a very big company. So today I will introduce our product, which is bus axle and the bus suspension system with low floor and wheel drive. Okay, now let's talk about our finest product of our bus axles. Okay, first let's look at this one. Okay, this is a bus wheel end. It's a bus wheel end. This is the fourth generation of the wheel end. As you can see here, it's driven by some parts, but you don't need to change oil of these parts, so it's maintenance free in its lifespan. So with this wheel end, you can guarantee a million kilometers for road bus and 80,000 kilometers for the city bus. Okay, you don't need to change oil. All you need to do is to check and maintain the parts every 12 months or every 150,000 kilometers. Okay, so this is our wheel end technology. Okay, moving on. Let's look at this. This is our ball joint. Okay. 动不了。哦。然后你想回来就可以。哦 ，OK。Okay. Okay, I will show you some of our finest product on the PowerPoint here. Okay, here. This is our suspension. Okay, as you can see here, this is a very space saving system, which you can deploy a spacious floor in your bus. Okay, because of its low floor characteristics, so you can realize a one-step the bus deploying system. And also, as you can see here, this is our rear axle. Okay, what makes it different is that it deploys C-shaped, as you can see here. The suspension axle is C-shaped. It looks like a letter C here, right? So because of these characteristics, it can ensure a more stiff and low energy cost of our rear axle. It can support up to 17 tons of weight, this rear axle. So it's very, very powerful, and you can use in both city bus and road bus. Okay, here are some front axles. Okay, now let's talk about our airbag technology. So we use ContiTech. I'll show you here. We use ContiTech airbag, which you probably hear of Continental, which is a big manufacturer of tires. ContiTech, okay? This is our airbag brand, ContiTech. So it uses 4 layers of the airbag compared to our competitors, which normally use 2 layers of the airbag. So it can make a very strong and powerful airbag for suspension. Okay, so according to the lab report, the side hertz is 1.1 hertz compared to our competitors 1.3 hertz, which can make a more comfortable riding experience of your customers if you can use this airbag on your bus. Okay, now this picture shows you the layout of our bags. As you can see here, it uses a very big foundation. Okay, the volume of the foundation is about 50% bigger than our competitors. So it can very easy to disassemble and assemble. Okay, now moving on, I will show you our this is our suspension system. Okay, its brand is Stax. We use Stax suspension system. As you can see here, the diameters of this suspension is very big. It's about 45 millimeters. Okay, so normally our competitor use 35 millimeters or up to 40 millimeters. So in light of the suspension power, we have the biggest in the market, so which can ensure a better suspension experience of your customers and your product, the bus. Okay, now let's talk about the last one, the ball joint on our suspension and axle system. Okay, this is maintenance free. and this one is made of alloy and non-artificial rubbers. Okay, it's natural rubbers, so it can lubricate itself. So in its entire lifespan, you don't need to maintain it very often. Okay, this is the ABS system, which is built into our actual system. And this, this is our spiral. This is the spiral system. Okay, I will show you here. Spiral system. SPIRAL. Okay, a spiral system. Okay, the angle of each dent is about 60 degrees. The angle of the dent is about 60 degrees. For normal ones, it's about 30 degrees. So when it fits up, it can leak very tightly. So you don't need to worry if it will fall and lose a part. Okay, it will be tightened in its entire lifespan. Okay, now let's talk about our front axle and the rear axle. Okay, we have a very big production line of our front axle and rear axles. Okay, now first I will introduce our AF axles, which is F for front axles, AR for rear. Okay. AF 22 to 27, which it can bear up to 2.2 tons to 2.7 tons. Okay, it's a very basic front axle. For AR product, we have a range from 8 to 13, 8.5 to 13. So we have AR 85 to AR 130. Okay. So normally these are our very stiff and rigid front and rear axles. It can be used in the traditional layout. The front axle and rear axles. As you can see in the pictures, this is a rear axle and rear axle also. Okay, this is the front axle. Okay, now let me show you some suspension systems. Okay, suspension systems here. Okay, as you can see here, this is the independent suspension system. Okay, it uses 4 different linking arms. Okay, with independent suspension system, if you hit a rock in the right tire, the left tire is not affected because of it's independent on each part. And it also utilizes our high-end technology, as you can see here. Okay, the maintenance-free wheel end. This is the oil seal. Okay, oil seal and the ring system. Okay, it can be up to 10,000 kilometers maintenance-free for road buses and 8,100 kilometers for city buses. And also, it also uses our ContiTech airbag system with 4 layers and the big foundation, about 50% bigger than our competitors, and it's easy assemble system. Okay, this is another rear axle. What makes it different is that it can drive on the wheel end. This is our wheel end driving system. Okay, so do you know the advantage of the wheel end driving system? Okay, I will show you in no minutes. Okay, so for wheel end driving system, you don't need a center power thrust, so it can save your center power thrust and the different alloys, which can save up to 50% of its weight on the wheel. And also, with the wheel and driving system, it can make a bigger torque for your power system, because the energy will not be transmitted from the back to the front. So you can realize the bigger torque on the wheel end. And lastly, a more spacious time. You know, with no center power thrust in the center, you can save a spacious system in the center, okay, which can make a wider center aisles for your passengers, and you can also realize a one-step bus deployment. Okay, now let's talk about our last system, which is a low floor deploy system. Okay, with a low floor deploying system, okay, you can easily be transmitted, and the power will easily be transmitted from the wheel end. So it's very easy for you to ride on the bus and in the end of the bus. Okay, and this is very powerful if you are up to an EV assembly line. Okay, and also都讲完了，20分钟啊，我19开始的，对啊，啊。
Hey everyone, it's Alex. Very good to see you. Welcome to our live streaming. Exactly, let's introduce myself. It's Alex from Smolit. Also, we call it Jingida Auto Part Corporation Limited, which is actually the subsidiary company of the Yutong Boss Group.哦，看下声音包括什么怎么样啊？啊。Okay. Sorry for stop for a moment. Come again. Oh, this is the Molly, and also Molly. This name myself. We are known as international. We call it Molly. Also in the China domestic, in the industry market, everybody knows the Jingida, the Part Corporation Limited, which is well known as a subsidiary company of Yutong Bus Group. So we have specializing in the bus axle and the suspension, this kind of product for 16 years continuous. We have R&D research center and aiming to become the one of the professional third party to supplying the axle and the suspension system to all the prominent the manufacturer domestic and with the leading technology innovation. And in the present, we got the product which covered nearly all of the category of the bus in the market. So which we can supply, which have guaranteeing the supplying capability to all of the bus market. So for the category of the bus, we can cover such like we all know about the school bus and coach, tourism bus, and some special purpose vehicle bus, and so also in length we can cover from a 5 meter to 18 meter, which also including the new energy bus, such like the pure electric the bus, and so today I'd like to showcase some our products and some the feature and some the key component of the product. Let's say the picture. Move on to one by one. For the key components, so we could say this. The first one I'm gonna to introduce. This one is we call it the axle housing. This one applies to all series of the rear axle. For this kind of axle, you could say this we using the friction welding process. This one is quite a great superior to the common welding process. There's no the outsourcing materials such as the welding rod, the welding the flux, and so there's no arc. Why the welding processing? There's no arc, no smoke, and nothing else, and no arc. So which could greatly guaranteeing the quality of the welding result. As a result of this kind of friction welding could guarantee and also highly superior to the common welding processes. So we could say this. The next one. Let's move on to next picture. Which say this. You see this. It's airbag basis. With this kind of airbag base, which is with high volume. It's around 50% the higher than the similar product in the market. We could say this with this kind of the bigger base of the airbag, we can this kind of airbag could guarantee the comfortable ride experience for the passenger, and also through and also with the international standard testing or national the domestic the domestic industry testing. Usually the offset frequencies 1.3 hertz with the suspension system, but with this kind of bigger base of airbag, which could realize to 1.1 hertz the frequency, so which could highly improve the performance of ride experience for the passenger. We could say this airbag is show the real one airbag. So we could say this with this kind of airbag, we could say this separate design, this airbag cover, and the airbag itself, and also with the airbag basis, with this kind of separate airbag design, which will avoid the foot link, so we could guarantee the assembly simply. So, and also we could say this kind of airbag, we could say this one as it's a Yutong. We have the brand and also engraved with Yutong, we could say here, because this one is also we outsourcing and developing together with the well-known brand that we call it Continental. So this airbag we developed together with Continental, we call it Contitech airbag, which adopt around the 4 curb layer. So compared to the similar product in the market, is usually they adopt the 2-layer curb inside the airbag, so which could improving the performance of the ride experience for the passenger. Let's get move on to the next one. So next one is the we call it it's a damper, or it's called it shock absorber. Say the one is also it's a German brand. It's we adopt Sachs. One is also we could say this one have with the biggest cylinder, around the 45mm cylinders diameter. So also compare with the similar product in the market, it's around 35mm to that maximum it's a 40mm diameter. So which could highly improve the performance of the ride experience without sacrificing the stability. So as we all know, once the shock absorber become stiff, the the vehicle usually when it's running on the road, there's just no ride experience, but which could guarantee the stability of the vehicle. So what I mean is with this kind of damper, which at the low period in the low speed area, which the damping force will increasing, which could to increase the pitching and roll stability, and at the high speed area, we could say this kind of damper will also increasing the damping force, so which could improve the performance of stability without sacrificing the ride experience for the passenger. And also which could also apply and adopt the reinforced oil seal, so which could definitely and greatly improve the performance of the vehicle's shock absorber. We call it SOX, right? Move on, next one, we call it the ball joint. Let's say this was because this is a kind of a ball joint, and which is vulcanized. This is made of natural rubber. The process usually we call it as a vulcanized. Vulcanized that is a natural rubber, and also we could say this have a metal integrated inside it, so it could reduce the impact from outside. Then this kind of a ball joint have applied to all of the components of the suspension and axle in the whole series of the axle in our product. Because this one I have also applied in the like the tow rod and the thrust rod and the sweep bar. Also we call it stabilizer. This is we call it free maintenance ball joint, because in the whole life cycle, this is no need to maintenance. So this is the valve canalized rubber. So then the next one we could say is so it's like what I mentioned just now. It's the natural rubber with the volcanic processes, and which applied on the sweep bar. And the next one we could is Wabco brand. Because this is a Wabco. Webco usually applied as it's kind of option as a requirement of our end user. This we could say just now I have mentioned too many brands from the well-known because like the German brand and there's all kind of brand applied adopted by the well-known brand ZF have applied there. So what I mean, in our products also have the similar performance, have the good stability, and so which so what I mean is this kind of products or have the same quality with the ZF. And the next one we could say this kind of a technology from the USA. We call it Spiralock. We call it Spiralock. This kind of technology we have applied it to all the all series of our product, like the suspension and the axle. With this kind of technology, the screw, we could say which could say that we are not impacted and we are not affected by the significantly temperature difference, and also the high temperature, also which one I could use repeatedly. So which also is cost efficiency. And this one also could apply to all kind of components which are requiring the self-load components. For the next one, I'm gonna introduce our the real product, because this kind of a product have applied it to the Eaton bus brake for a long time, and which have good stability, showing the great performance during the long time running on the road. The first one I could say this as we call it electric hub driving system, which are usually using as the real as the real part of the vehicle, and to the bars length at 8 to 8.5 meters, the kind of bars. We could say this have eliminated the transmission shock, because we have the distributed electric hub driving on both sides. We could say this differential and demand reducer have combined and integrated together on both sides of each wheel, and after eliminate the transmission shaft and also the I-beam of the conventional axle, we could say the mass of the whole axle and suspension have reduced significantly. It's around 50% lower than the conventional, the rear axle. We could say this. And I say we could say, and this kind of axle also we have adopted, like what I have mentioned just now, like the Conditech airbag with the 4-cup layer, with the very low frequency offset frequency, which could improve greatly the performance of the ride experience for the passenger. And also with this kind of distributed electric hub driving system, in virtue of the characteristic of rapid motor response and independent control torque of distributed hub driving system. We could say this can greatly in realizing the anti-skid driving and anti-skid braking, which could improve the performance of recovering the energy, which what means the regenerative braking, to convert the energy from the magnetic to electricity, and then to restore the energy to the battery. It's kind of process like that. So with this kind of technology, and I could say this in the China domestic market, just very few manufacturers of this kind of technology applied to the market, and also adopted by many manufacturers to to leading their technology like that. Okay. The next one, let's shift to the low floor axle. Say this one. As for this this product is really sophisticated, and also with the leading technology. We could say this also with I-beam, not an independent suspension. To compare with the independent suspension, like what I mentioned just now, that one is adopted independent suspension, because independent suspension could okay, let's move back to just now the electric hub driving. So just one I could say, with this kind of independent suspension, is really have had the beneficial for the greater spaces for the chassis, and also have the flexibility for installation on the chassis, and we could make the wide passageway, and they also have the benefit for the continuous, like the low floor, so which has really kind of to improve the performance for the low floor vehicle. So next one, let's back again for the low floor. This one, we could say this kind of main reducer and differential have combined and integrated together, but different with the conventional ones in the central and integral main reducer. But this one is because in order to increase the space of the low floor on the rear part of the vehicle, we could say this low floor, the main reducer have you could say on the side part, we call it bias. We call it bias centered. All right, it's different with the central part. So we could say this kind of axle also adopted with like what I mentioned, just the key components of like the Conditech airbag and the SAX shock absorber and FAG bearing, and also with the canals, the disc braking, and all of the components we adopted just as the same brand of the ZF, so which have just showing the same quality, same performance of stability with the ZF product. So I have to mention this one that we call it, it's a series A, as it's AR130 Lima. It's kind of let's write it to emphasize what we call it. Scored没弄完了呀，小环。不行。We call it A is 130 Lima, and as this one have the matching front axle. We call it AF75 with the big drop. next one is we could say this one is main reducer have integrated in central driving. This is really different with just now what I mentioned, the low floor, because the main reducers have have installed the mounted on the different part. So this one is mounted on the center of the axle. The low floors have installed on the side of the I-beam, which could increase the spaces of the axle inside the vehicle, right? Okay, today that's all, and we're back to you later. Thank you for watching.